But we did get reunited with the Walker Independence crew, which was very exciting. Their mid-season premiere truly was a mid-season premiere, which I appreciate because sometimes you come back and it's like they weren't off on hiatus or
Hmm.
anything. They give you a middle of the road episode and you're just there.
Yeah, I was shocked when they mentioned in dialogue that time had elapsed, and it was like the
Hmm.
same amount of time had elapsed for us as for them. And I was like, oh, thank you. We're all on the same page.
And I didn't really know how much I missed the show until it came back because of how good the mid-season premiere was. And
Oh, so good.
there
Fantastic.
was so much in it as well to dissect in such a short amount of time. And usually I don't like time jumps, but this did it very effectively. The fact that I think we have to start with the fact that Augustus is now part of the team.
Yeah.
Like that was a shot. That was bold that they did that off screen. I get why they did it, but it was bold. But it worked. It absolutely worked because the fact that Hoyt had only come back to town, we saw it all unfold through his eyes. So he learned as we learned. It was very effective.
And now Hoyt has yet another person who's going to outvote him when it comes to the plans that they make.
They needed to replace Callion somehow.
The explanation though is like he knew too much, right? Which is like so true. Like they can only play cat and mouse with him for so long because he's very smart. Like he's gonna connect some dots. So it's better to have him as an ally than an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Though the way that he was pressing Tom though was again a bit too much. And then he like leaves in the middle of when Charlie comes looking for Abby, whose real name is apparently Mary. And
Mm.
that great comedic beat where Gus is like, I have to go to the Western Union. Like,
I know
randomly in
there
the
are so
middle of
many
this.
like moments where they do things that are so obvious. Like some who clocked that he was outside walking with Abby. I think it was the sister.
Sister, yeah, Charlotte,
Yeah.
yeah.
And she kind of was like, looks like my sister, but that's just her back. But there are so many moments like that where you can see like Tom's clearly like tucking away info, and whether
Mm-hmm.
he actually knows or if he's just like noticing suspicious coincidences or not.
Yeah,
But it's
like
fun to watch to
it
see
is,
those
it
things
is, and
happen.
it makes for very tense moments because, like, when Tom and Abby went out to the gravesite or where the thing had been burnt, the carriage had been burnt, and Abby was like kicking the dust over that picture of her, and um, he said a few lines to her that very much imply that he knows what's going on. I don't think he does, but just the
I don't
writing in
think
the
he
show is
does
very
either.
clever, very
Yeah.
See,
clever.
I think he knows who she is. I don't think he knows that she's hiding from him specifically.
Mm,
This cat and mouse game is very fun to watch. You know that I like
Yeah.
their dynamic, even if I still want her to step on him. But like, like I really do. And so he was smirky the entire scene. It was like they're both like, I know things you don't know, but you can't know that I know these things.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she, for a woman who really wants to bring him down, she seems not necessarily comfortable in his presence, but not afraid to be alone with him where no one else is around, which is
Mhm.
interesting to me.
Yeah, I
Their
think she's
scenes
like drawn to the
together are like
danger.
yeah, their scenes together, it's like you kind of hold your breath a little bit because there's the highest stakes with the two of
Mhm.
them alone together. So you're like, ugh. And they play it so well. Like the way that their chemistry together is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Definitely. There's definitely something. I think there's a darkness in Abby, and I think she's kind of like drawn to the danger of being around him because it'll get her closer to solving the murder and getting the justice that she wants. Because, of course, losing someone can send you down a dark path. And I think it has with Abby. I just think because she's got her own little fun superhero team and adds a little bit of lightness to the overall story, but she very much wants revenge. Although I will say I like the fact that she did save Tom's life because death was not the revenge she wanted. She wanted actual justice. So
Yeah.
how does she bring down a lawman? You know what I mean? I think that'll add to the stakes as it goes on. But yeah, very important character moments for Abby in this episode.
And it was great too to see her dynamic with her sister
Mm.
because she had said, didn't she say earlier in the season that they at once had been close, but that relationship fractured, and then you relearn why the relationship
Yeah.
fractured.
That was
Yeah.
like what? At the first reveal was that Charlie was with Liam,
Mm-hmm.
engaged,
They're
married, what was
engaged.
it?
Engaged.
Engaged.
And then Abby ended up marrying him.
Mm-hmm.
But then we end up finding out later that Charlie was with him just for show,
Mm-hmm.
because she's got eyes for Kate.
Yes, she does.
I loved it.
Because it was very soap opera, the way that they revealed what happened and then the twist.
Yeah. And the way that just in a single episode, we meet Charlie and end up being so invested in this relationship with Kate in a single 45-minute episode. I don't know how they pulled that off. Like, I care so deeply about that couple.
Yes.
And I only we just saw them for 40 minutes.
They're so believable, right? They're so like, yes, I could see in the span of 2 days, these two would have become immensely meshed together because of circumstances and because of knowing what it's like to walk through society as a woman, and also a woman who has to keep her personal life very, very personal. And they have the same attitude, right? Like, you get through life by doing what you have to do. And Kate does that, and she does it by protecting people as well. And Charlie intended to protect her sister, but also she knows how the game is played, right? We come from a rich family. I'm not willing to be destitute, but I will be able to help people with the money that we have. And Abby is very much, justice at all times. We can be destitute, we can be on the streets, but we will not take the money. And Charlie's like, not me.
There is an interesting, they're both come across as really good people, Abby and Charlie, and that's what's really interesting. But at the same time, there is also such a split between who they are, and I think that's what created that split between the two of them. Why they didn't, you know what I mean? They clash over things, even though their hearts are both in the right place. And Abby's not afraid to stand up for what's happening, and you could see they did such a good job of highlighting animosity. Might be a bit extreme, but the tension between the two of them early on, when Abby was like, "I had everything in hand, and then you showed up, it ruined it all, and now we have to fix this," and Charlie just went along with it, and then she ended up becoming their MVP because she was the key to making Tom think that Mary Collins was dead after all. I really like how, I have to agree, I really like how quickly Charlie became a part of just the fabric of the show in 45 minutes. But again, just the relationship with Kate was my favorite part of it. So much chemistry between the two of them, but so many lovely scenes. It was the quiet part of the episode while all these high stakes things were going on around it, and by the end of the episode I was like, this is all I care about. Tom, don't care about you.
Yeah, it was
so good.
like a rom-com. They did the sweeping romance somehow in a single episode, and it worked so well. And it's funny because when we first met, Charlie was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna like you. Oh, you're gonna give Abby some grief, and that's my girl." But again, just in the course of one episode, the way they give Charlie such character development, we learn about her, we learn why she moves through the world the way that she does. And I think the weight of Charlie and Kate, which I think you both alluded to a little bit, is the societal weight of why their romance is forbidden in that time. It just makes you care about it so instantly. And I just love how at the end of the day, she did what she needed to do for her sister, let bygones be bygones. And she did what she needed to do. And I think I love the difference between them, because Abby's I'm going to give up everything. I'm going to give up my name. I'm going to give up my home to follow through with this. And like you said, Sabrina, Charlie's well, have fun. I did what I could. See you later.
And she got a girlfriend out of it at the same time. She's like, I sweep through town. I provided you cover. And Kate, I will be back. Well,
but we have a love triangle because Kai is down so bad for Kate.
He is.
Oh, he stayed in that town despite having is he Mark? Does he have someone coming for him? I don't know, but he was I'm not leaving. I love this town. I love that woman. I'm staying here. I loved it. I was heartbroken when I thought that he was going to ride out of Independence on Cordell. I was heartbroken.
But and you get it, right? She just, when they're talking, you just see the love pouring out of him. And then when she turns around and she flashes this gorgeous smile and turns back, and I was like, yeah, you're stuck here. I
Yeah.
agree. But
Yeah.
what you don't know about Charlie, which, by the way, I just wanted to say one of the things that I really liked about the two of them is the amount of joy that's in it.
Yes.
Like, yes, it has to be under wraps, but there is
It's
so much joy in that sweep
very
across the
joyful.
saloon. Is it the saloon?
Yeah.
The bar to the back room
When
where
she
they can be
grabbed Kate's
together.
hand,
Yeah.
And Kate giggles.
chills.
Like
I
Kate
loved
giggles.
it.
It's just adorable. And the hop into the what is that, carriage? Like they can,
Yeah.
I don't think they can be seen, but we were playing a little risky there, but
Risking it
another
all. But I loved it. That's what makes it so special. Like
Mhm.
they don't care. Like they really care about each other and they don't care what people will think, even though they do. They have to care a little bit, but like they were willing to risk it for that moment. And
Mhm.
it was so special.
No, Kate's was limited. She forgot her.
Yeah.
She just goes,
The scene would have been at home in a rom-com. It was just like between the dramatic music, the way the chasing after the carriage, the covering her tracks with Abby. Oh, she forgot her. Couldn't even finish the sentence. Such a lovely scene. And like
Yeah.
Kate, we've always said is kind of like the busybody of the town, and she has to be now that we knew what her job was and what her purpose was. But she's been wound so tightly, and just to see her so like come alive and so like what's the word, awkward, it was so adorable. I loved seeing that.
Charlie has to come back.
I hope
Like,
so.
she really,
Yes.
really does. Because it can't be one of those things, when you watch the show and they bring in a guest star for like one episode and it's lovely and they never come back, but you like the relationship dynamic with somebody, and then you're like sitting there like, bring him back? Are we gonna bring him back? Like, we need it. I think there's just they added something that the show hasn't had yet. Everything is very high stakes. Everything is very like wrought, and those two added a lot of happiness to the show.
Yeah, Wendy does something so well, which is whenever there's a new character coming in for an episode, it's not just like fluff. Like there's a weight that affects multiple characters when somebody comes in. Like Charlie wasn't just like a mess to clean up for Abby. It was like she became so ingrained in this town. Like she was dealing with Tom, she was obviously with Kate, and even Tom's brother. Do we know that it's his brother yet?
Yes, because I believe they said it in because he says big brother in the trailer for the
I didn't know if we knew that as of episode 8, but talk about a gasp moment when Abby clocks the goatee and the hat, and she was like, "What?" Record scratch.
She's like, "Oh, might have the wrong man," and everybody at the table is like, "Excuse me,"
and they're like, "Oh God, Abby, like what?
You got us into this mess." I don't know. I feel like that would be a red herring, but it's a fun one anyway. Because that shot, no denying that, the hat and the beard, everything.
They look identical, which was like great casting.
Yeah, they do.
Amazing.
I can't wait to see next week's episode. Like counting down the minutes at this point.
Like I know that's not just gonna be like a fluff casting. Like here's some new character. It's gonna impact the story in multiple characters, and I'm excited for it.
And we keep saying every time they bring someone from Tom's past or his family into it, we learn so much more about him. Like I said, not necessarily a heroic character in the slightest, but there are sometimes we learn there's more reasoning behind his behavior, and I'm eager to see what kind of like story depth his brother can add to it.
I kind of hope it's not something that humanizes him more. Like
I know
his brother's like he has to look out for his brother, like give him money or like keep him out of trouble. Like I don't want to feel any more endeared to Tom than we already have.
We feel enough.
I think it'll be interesting if it's like the opposite of what is going on with Abby and Charlie, where Charlie is very much the older sister. And it's not that Tom isn't acting like an older brother, but he has no idea how to rein his little brother in, and he might be one of those. He needs
to be even worse than Tom.
Yeah, he needs to be, and he might be one of those sibling dynamics where Tom lets it happen, and that's the issue. The same way he lets his aunt run all over him, he might let his little brother do the same, which causes havoc. And And I mean, it might be slightly endearing for those who are Tomopologists, but for those who aren't, it'd be like, no, just another knock against him. The character is poor, like not the character himself, but his character is poor. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Weak constitution. The integrity is not there. I can't believe 8 episodes in, and I don't think we've had a single episode of Walker Independence that we did not enjoy.
Loved every minute.
Like, this is a show, and I don't want to like review it. I feel like every week we just talk about how much we love it, but like I noticed this more than ever in episode 8. This is a show that doesn't waste a single moment. Like, it's very much active watching. Every scene means something. They don't do anything just because like everything is important. And that's why sometimes I have trouble watching it, because I think we get used to watching shows that you can inactively watch, where like not every scene is important. And there I found myself drifting off in moments just because, you know, these days attention spans are not what they used to be. But like I'm like, no. Walker Independence, they know what they're doing. Every minute matters. Like, you have to actively watch. And I think that's so refreshing. Like, they don't waste any time. There are even shows that make you think they're active watching shows, like some of the biggest shows, and it's like, no, you could like turn away for a minute and you'd be fine, because they just like linger on stuff that doesn't matter. But like Wendy, it's like every moment holds some weight that you need to tuck away in your brain. And I think that's amazing. It's brilliant. Best show on TV. I'm saying it.
There's so many pots boiling. Like, there's the Kai situation simmering. It's been simmering since the first half of the season, but clearly the temperature is being turned up there. And then we have a new pot that's been added to the stove with what's going to be happening with the railroad coming through, and the way that the workers are burning down Native American land. And just forcibly moving people, or presumably also killing them. I wasn't quite sure if Tapsana was talking about that as well. Like, it wasn't just that we were burning their homes, we were killing people who weren't leaving.
I think that was it.
Which I guess will bring Cassian back to town. Or Callian, sorry, Callian back to town. But it is, I don't know. That part, they're building that storyline. I'm intrigued by it. I want to know where they're going with it.
Yeah,
like you said, the pots on the stove, it's like a whole holiday meal. We've got so many things going. The charcuterie board's out. We're boiling the water for macaroni and cheese in the back. Ham's in the oven.
It really is the best show. Bold claim about it being the best show on TV right now, but I think it's like there.
I usually say that with hyperbole. Like, I said a lot that Dynasty was the best show on TV, and that was hyperbole. As much as I loved it, I knew it wasn't the best show on television, right? Like, I'm self-aware, right? Like, but I actually mean it with this. And I haven't watched every show on TV, so I can't say that it is the best definitively. But of what I watch, it's Wendy and Abbott, and that's I think the best of the best right now.
Well, okay, I'm just gonna say this one point about TV. They are primetime soap operas, and I feel like people get really invested in terms of being like, you can't say that that's the best show because it's on the CW. And it's just like, what's your top favorite show? I would like to know. Which procedural drama do you tune into every week, and what is the quality?
Those are the kind of people that call things guilty pleasures. And it's like, if something brings you pleasure, don't feel guilty about it. Whatever you think is the best show, it's the best show. That's why I always call Dynasty the best show, because it makes people uncomfortable to sit with me calling a primetime soap that is ridiculous the best show on TV. It makes people uncomfortable because they're like, what about Succession? I'm like, I don't care about Succession. Go watch it if you want. I'm talking about
Dynasty. Not a single lie.
Yes. Yeah, Joe, I feel like you should, like, that's the end. Mic drop.